Tonight, a beautiful night in Seattle and here on the campus of the University of Washington at the Bank of America Arena. The Washington Huskies men's basketball team taking on Morgan State from Baltimore, conference member of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. And as always, the Huskies finding their own way to get motivated in this one step beyond the Pac-10 opener, which is Saturday afternoon in Pullman against Washington State. But first things first, this Morgan State basketball team is not to be trifled with. Along with Francis Williams, I'm Kevin Calabro. Out of the MEAC, they stand 5-7 already with a road win at DePaul.
Yeah, well, Todd Bozeman does a good job of getting this program back on his feet. It's his third year there, and they're going to be a formidable opponent tonight for the UW.
Well, we've got an interesting contrast here between the bigs and the littles. First, we look at the little ones. And, of course, Washington featuring Isaiah Thomas, Cat Quick. And how about this man, Itchy Bolden out of Baltimore, the senior?
Well, Jermaine Bolden, as you mentioned, he's a senior. He can score the basketball. He's very good in transition. And being one of the few seniors on this squad, they look to him for a lot of leadership.
And with a nickname like Itchy, you know he's going to have some tricks up his sleeve. How about John Brockman? What a tremendous college career he has. Currently the active rebounding leader in the Pac-10 and just getting everything that comes near him. Also leading this Husky team in scoring opposite Marquise Cately.
Marquise Cately, some people might recognize that name. He played his freshman and sophomore year at Cal, was actually on the all-freshman team at Cal, now at Morgan State, one of the leading scorers. He's a preseason first-team all-MEAC performer, and Morgan State will looking for big things from him tonight.
Lorenzo Romar has cautioned his team, Francis, to beware. Don't overlook this basketball team.
They've done a great job. They've reeled off 6 in a row. Last game before Pac-10 play starts, so they need to have a good performance tonight to get ready for Washington State on the 3rd.
And a good start is crucial here tonight. The first 5 minutes could spell the difference in the game as the Huskies have been crushing opponents here on their home floor. We're back with a tip in a moment right here on FSN. Washington tonight hosting Morgan State out of Baltimore. They are coached by Todd Bozeman in his 3rd year, 40 wins, 36 losses at Morgan State. Todd Bozeman took over at Cal in the early 90s and did a wonderful job down there of getting them back, winning some basketball games, Francis, but there was the infraction that cost him nearly 8 to 10 years, really, when you look back, of coaching at the Division I level.
Yeah, well, if you follow college basketball at all, his story is pretty well chronicled. There's been a lot written and a lot said about it, but as he said, he's done what he's needed to do. He's putting that behind him, and he's focusing on this Morgan State program. And as we said, he's done a great job in the 3rd year there, getting them to the point where they're picked right now to be one of the teams that can get into that field of 65.
Won 22 games a year ago and made the National Invitational Tournament. Joining us tonight on the broadcast is Jen Mueller. She is down on the court getting ready for the ball game.
Well, Kevin, a bit of change in the routine for the Dogs today. You know, we're the back end of a doubleheader here on FSN. We just wrapped up the women's game about a half hour ago, and I was able to catch a little bit of that along with men's head coach Lorenzo Romar. He snuck into the gym to watch the women play and told me that he told his guys to treat today like a tournament game. They only got 30 minutes to warm up in between games. He told them to go shoot in the gym, but you better be ready to go at tip-off because it's a change in the routine today, guys.
All right, thank you, Jen. The Huskies have taken care of business defensively, which I think is going to make Coach Romar feel very good, gratified. His team has allowed opponents under 65 points a game, and coming into this game shooting .409. Opponents shooting .409, and against Montana, Francis, they just broke down the Grizzlies early and kept after them, forcing 19 turnovers.
Yeah, they really did, and I think it all started with the backcourt play. Isaiah Thomas, picked up a 4th foul early in the 2nd half, but was able to stay in the game and stay aggressive. But the backcourt with the pressure they're able to put on the basketball, which allows you to get in the passing lanes and do some other things, has really been the focal point and what has really propelled this team defensively.
Let's take a look at our lineups. Jermaine Bolden, they call him Itchy, along with Roger Barnes. Reggie Holmes had 29 points in the win over DePaul in Chicago against that Big East opponent. Marquise Cately, Kevin Thompson up front. The Huskies feature Justin Detman and Isaiah Thomas. Those two combined for 26 points per ball game. And of course, John Brockman anchoring up front with Darnell Gant and Quincy Pondexter. Our officials are Dick Cartmel, Kevin Brill, and Jeff Kitchen. And we're underway in Seattle on the tip, won by the Huskies.
Well, we got the senior Brockman matched up with the freshman Thompson for Morgan State. So let's keep an eye on that. Thompson 18-6 in the last game against St. Mary's a couple nights ago. And he's going to go up against one of the best in the country being matched up against John Brockman.
Justin Dentman in the act of shooting gets spun around and fouled, and he immediately will step to the line, and he'll get a deuce. The foul is on Roger Barnes, the senior from Columbia, Maryland. Dentman gets things started on the good foot. He is number 4 in career assists, number 3 in steals. Justin Dentman. And he and Isaiah Thomas have really clicked in that dynamic duo out front for the Huskies. 2-0 Washington. This is Barnes. Morgan State will try to probe the middle. They're a patient basketball team. Well drilled. Coming off a loss on the road down in Moraga, California to St. Mary's. 11 on the shot clock, and the three-point offering off the mark, and a foul called in pursuit of the rebound. And this will work against Morgan State. Reggie Holmes picks up his first.
Huskies in their man-to-man, which they've done pretty much the entire season. Lots of pressure on the basketball, really trying to get up into the passing lanes and force Morgan State into about a 23-foot shot up against the shot clock.
Itchy Bolden, 5'9". Thomas looks him right in the eyes. Up it comes to Dentman. Spin dribble on a Brockman high screen. Now Brockman will get the post. One dribble spin, double clutch off the window. No, nice follow to keep it alive in there by Dentman, but off his fingertips and out of bounds. It'll be Bears basketball.
Huskies trying to exploit what they feel is probably a mismatch there, as we said. John Brockman, the senior, against the freshman Thompson.
Kevin Thompson with a turnaround jumper. Brockman forced him out of his range. Pondexter with a loose ball. Change of pace, dribble drive, but Bolden turns Thomas. Dentman has difficulty, pressured, and had a foot in backcourt.
And Huskies get a little dose of their own medicine there. Good backcourt or pressure by the Morgan State guards, forcing the turnover. You see Jermaine Bolden doing a nice job of keeping Isaiah Thomas out of the paint.
Rodney Stokes in the lineup now for Morgan State. Gant had the rebound, but brought it down into the hands of Bolden, and Morgan State reloads.
And they have a mismatch with Thomas on Catley if they can get him the basketball.
Bolden missing. Rebound, put back up and in. Good hustle play in there by Reggie Holmes. Thomas glides in, splits defenders, and has been fouled. Morgan State had difficulty shooting the ball against St. Mary's. They shot just 25% in the second half, 33% for the ball game, but they took care of the ball, only 9 turnovers while forcing 19.
Yeah, and you see Reggie Holmes slide in there and get that rebound. He got an over-the-back call in the earlier possession, so you should be aware that he's going to go to the offensive glass pretty strong. But St. Mary's is a good basketball team, and they're going to make some noise as we get deeper into this season. They're definitely one of the better teams on the West Coast.
This ball club lost by 5 at Mississippi as well. They beat a Marshall ball club already this year. Here comes Bolden, 5'9" out of backcourt. Kid from Baltimore. A very talented youngster by the name of Tyrone Bogues, who hails from Baltimore, Maryland as well. Hey, he didn't call the bank, but it's good from long range. Reggie Holmes. Back comes Brockman. He caught him sleeping and throws it down.
Got to run the floor in both directions, and John Brockman gets a couple of those a game, seemingly, where he just outruns the other players, the other team's big player.
Holmes spins. He's tied up, and possession arrow gives it back to the Bears.
You mentioned that Baltimore area. Bozeman can wrap a net around that area. It's a good recruiting base. 10 of the 15 players on the roster are from the state of Maryland, so he's getting it started.
Dunbar High School turned out some very nice players. Gibson High School as well. Cardinal Gibson. Step back off the mark from Bolden. Let's see Pondexter with a rebound.
All right, John Brockman again running the floor, doing his work early.
Brockman again collide for the rebound. It's tipped into the hands of Thompson. Here comes Morgan State. Huskies on top of the Bears, 6-5. Thompson beats Gant on the dribble. Good look by Thomas, flicks it away, races after it, has a big man to beat, and he will. Glides by Cately and reverses it in.
And Isaiah Thomas getting his hands on the ball and causing the deflection, picking it up, laying it in.
Out on the wing now with it. Handling is Marquise Cately, the senior from San Francisco. Spins and drives, leans back, and he drew Pondexter onto the body in a foul. Into the line will come Marquise Cately. He is 6'5" and 220 pounds. Good size.
Well, the Huskies continue to play that harassing defense. You see Isaiah Thomas deflect that pass, chases it down, takes it to the basket strong. And again, they've been creating a lot of turnovers, getting their hands on a lot of basketballs just by being active and applying that pressure defense out front with the guards.
Matthew Brian Ammoning stepping in now for Washington as Todd Bozeman continues to go to his bench. They'll bring on Rico Miles, who's 6'8", out of Los Angeles from Crenshaw High School.
Cately at the line from Oregon State. He's from San Francisco. He's a West Coast kid, and expect him to really come out with some fire tonight. He was 0 for 8 in that game against St. Mary's a couple nights ago.
8-7 Huskies. Ammoning 6'9", very active. Husky bench has been terrific this year. They have outscored opponents in 9 games this year. Brian Ammoning in deep, turns, wheels up the right hand, count it, and he's fouled. And he will head to the line, shooting 64% from the field coming into this game.
Well, Brian Ammoning just picking up where he left off the last 3 games. Just been incredible. 15 rebound performance in the last game. You see him there. There's no double team. He's just too big, too strong. He's got a variety of post moves down there and chance for the and one.
He would lead the nation, Francis, if he had played 75% of the games. Tonight, if he continues on this pace, this game would qualify him. So you'll see him in the collegiate standings of the 330 so colleges that played D1 ball. He'll be #1 if he continues at this pace. And with that 3-point play, the Huskies lead by 4.
To have 2 guys at that level of rebounding the basketball, if nothing else, that's a plus.
Skip pass cross court, Itchy Bolden with it. Boy, this kid looks so much like Ricky Davis, who hails from Iowa, plays now in the pros. Talking about Reggie Holmes, who knocks down the jumper.
Likes to shoot it like Ricky, too.
There's Quincy Pondexter, the back to spin, got into traffic. Morgan State converges on the ball. You got to love that defense. Barnes rips it away, 2-on-1. Out ahead and going strong to the hole with the left hand is Reggie Holmes to convert.
That's good swarming defense that time on the post by Morgan State. Gives him a chance to get out in transition and get the 2 points.
Huskies looking to go low to Brockman. And the ball tipped away, and with a tie ball game, 11-11. Timeout on the floor with 15:40 to play in the first half.
You see Holmes converting that layup for 2 to tie the game for Morgan State, 11-11.
11-11 ball game, 15:40 to go in the first half, and already Reggie Holmes has found a nice little groove, Francis.
Well, he's knocked down a couple of outside shots, got out in transition, got an offensive rebound, and got a putback. So he's 4 for 4 early, and he's really leading the Morgan State Bears with his being very, very aggressive actually on both ends of the court.
Back on the 10th, Holmes had the 29 points against DePaul in Chicago to beat the Blue Demons. It was red hot. He had 5 of 9 from 3, 9 of 21 in total from the field. And he's off to a 4 for 4 start here. The rest of the ball club 0 for 5. Washington will bring it in bounds. Full complement on the shot clock. Dentman wide open for the look at 3, and he guns it down.
Good job by Washington to get something easy on the out-of-bounds play.
Reggie Holmes looking to enter to Thompson, won't. Swings it outside. In the lineup, Rico Miles, 6'8" junior. Left side is Kevin Thompson. Thompson nearly had it ripped. Finds a shooter. That won't go. Jabbed away off of the hands of Holmes. Got loose to midcourt, a whistle. And a foul called in pursuit of the ball. And this will go against Washington's Justin Dentman.
And even though he didn't come up with the ball, Holmes again for Morgan State got his hands on that basketball and tipped it to a teammate.
Benoit Overton will check in. He comes off a season-high 10 points in that win over Montana. Defensively, he was outstanding.
He really was. And if he can pick up where he left off, that's the type of consistency and the type of play they need from Overton that gives them a real tough backcourt and gives them a lot of depth.
He's out there right now in Bolden. Trying to deny Bolden the basketball. Does a nice job. Now they got to swing it over here into the hands of Holmes. He's checked by Justin Holiday now in the lineup. They're going to put some length on Holmes and see how he adapts to that. Crossover dribble, 10 to shoot. Bolden back between the wickets. Spin drive, right-hander up and in. Beautiful move.
And that's a senior for you. They tried to deny him the basketball. He's very patient, changed the pace a little bit, go get the basketball back in his hands, measured his opponent, got himself a good shot.
Huskies up one. Holiday handles. Right wing to Overton. Entry pass overplayed and shaded by Thompson. Good defensive play. Morgan State up the floor. Change of pace crossover. Here he comes. Reggie Holmes with a quick little toss to the rim up and in.
As you said, 29 and 6 in the win against DePaul. So we know that he's a capable scorer.
He's 5 for 5. He's plenty capable right now. Denton off the screen. Morgan State will switch it. Nice job inside. Brian Amity. Lost it. Juggle it right to Denton. He's been quiet. Rebound Holiday. Kicks it outside to Denton and a reset of the shot clock.
Strength of the Huskies this year, plus 13 rebounding margin, and they're keeping that up by pounding the offensive glass.
They collapse a guard on it. Brockman leaving Vinoy Overton open, and bang, he hits the three.
There he goes. Now you get that with his open court play. If he starts knocking those down, we got a news flash.
Bolden feeds to Thompson. Brockman 3/4 him, slip fronts him, and tipped it out of bounds.
Well, Vinoy Overton in the previous game for the Huskies, 10 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 4 steals, and a block shot. You see the double team come to Brockman on the post. He finds Vinoy behind the three-point line, and he knocks it down.
Roger Barnes handling. This is Thompson. Tries it away from Brian Amity. And Matthew Brian Amity finishes with the block, but a foul call.
Well, this is going to be a good test for Washington.
Yes.
This is going to be a good test because Morgan State, they have some athletes, they have a little size, and you can see that they have a game plan and they have a philosophy that these kids have all bought into, and they're not going to go away from it. This is going to be a good test for Washington tonight.
I was going to say, Morgan State has shown some discipline here early. I think Bozeman certainly has their ears and their minds right now.
Well, we know that Todd is a good coach. I mean, he spent the last 10 years, although he was not coaching, or shouldn't say the last 10, but the 10 that he had to stay away from college basketball, working in the NBA and still being a part of the game. So he's probably bringing a lot with him.
Yeah, Quincy goes down. He had his knee pinned under a player that had fallen across the knees, holding the lower left leg. Actually, that's Elston Turner. I beg your pardon. Turner just checked into the ball game.
Second personal foul, team number 6 on Laird.
Yeah, got the ankle rolled under him as Rico Miles and he were vying for the loose ball.
Yeah, I hope he didn't break his leg. It almost looked like he got his whole leg trapped underneath him.
Starting to see more and more time. The freshman from Missouri City, Texas, is just outside of Houston. His father, Elston Turner, is now an assistant coach with the Houston Rockets, and Rick Adelman's bench down there with Jack Sikma. So they're going to help Elston Turner over to the locker room.
I hope he's okay. He's been playing well, really doing what the Huskies need him to do, which is shooting the ball well from the outside.
Well, so far the Huskies have knocked down a couple of threes, the latest one being Vinoy Overton. Dentman has knocked down a three as well. Huskies off to a 5 for 10 shooting start. Thomas is back in now for Turner.
First time tonight Morgan State goes into a 2-3 zone.
Thomas with Overton guards. Holiday on the wing. Brian Amity in the middle of the zone. Overton drives and kicks. Thomas for 3, floats it up and in.
Good job by Overton to get into the paint. Find Thomas on the wing. Thomas knocks it down, so you got those two knocking down back-to-back threes. That's a good sign for Washington.
Thomas 2 for 3, both field goals from beyond the arc. 5-point lead for Washington. Now they extend their defense. NBA up on Thompson, backdoor lob, read beautifully by Holiday, volleys to Overton, long lead pass to Brian Amity. Drives, got the shoulder into the defender, and a charge.
And that's a nice job by Rogers Barnes, number one, to hustle back on defense and get in position. And NBA, we've seen him when he gets the ball and he's got someone isolated. He's gonna try to take it because he's feeling real confident on the offensive end.
Jermaine Bolden gets the screen, drives in, rejected by Matthew Bryan Ammoning. But a good hustle play as Morgan State grabs it. They regroup. They have 19 on the shot clock. Wow, look at that step back for three. They did everything but the field goal. Thompson with a rebound in the clutter. Tried to get free, but Holiday held it. And this should go back to Washington. It will.
Well, nice job by Thompson to get on the offensive glass, but Holiday sneaks in there for the tie-up. Huskies possession.
Well, the Huskies locked in a good one here with 11:55 to go in the first half. It's Washington 20, Morgan State from Baltimore 15. In the opening moments of the first half, Francis Williams, Kevin Calabro, and Jen Mueller joining us on the broadcast tonight. Jenny?
Well, Kevin, we saw Elston Turner leave the game just a few minutes ago in considerable pain. He has left to go and get his ankle looked at. He has not put any weight on his leg since injuring it a few moments ago. In considerable pain on the bench. Had a hard time describing what had happened and what he felt like. We will keep an eye on it and let you know the condition and his status of his return, Kevin.
Thanks very much. Jen, appreciate the work. 6 for 11 shooting for Washington, 6 of 14 Morgan State. Huskies' last 3 buckets have been 3-pointers. One of them from Thomas. He's hit 2 tonight. Good footwork and the left-hand finish. Nope. Thomas soars in the putback. Volley keeps it alive. Gant had it blocked, brought it down. Thomas is wide open for 3. Short on it. Rebound tipped out of bounds. The last touch by Reggie Holmes.
Well, the Huskies all season long have been very tough on the offensive boards, and again, just relentless. Gant going to the glass, Bryan Ammoning going to the glass. Isaiah Thomas almost gets the tip at 5'9", and they're just relentless on the offensive boards.
Sophomore Matthew Bryan Ammoning, the drop step, hook up and in. He has all of those nice moves in there, doesn't
he? He does, and he's patient with his moves also.
Largest lead for the Huskies. They swarm the pass to the post. Tipped out of bounds. Last touch by the Huskies. 11:07 to go in the first half. Washington leading by 7.
Yeah, Matthew Bryan Ammoning, when he sees that the double team's not coming, he goes to work. And just a nice little drop step with the baby hook. And it's 2.
Got a big man on him, too. Rodney Stokes is 6'10". Huskies on an 8-0 run. This is Thompson. They have walked. Brockman tried to bring it down and snatch it. Couldn't. Rolls down off his sleeve out of bounds. He's in now with Quincy Pondexter. Justin Holiday up front with Overton and Thomas, the Washington guards.
Morgan State goes to the offensive glass pretty strong, too. They've already got 5 offensive rebounds.
On the inbounds, Thompson handles. Bolden eludes Thomas. Missed the open. The open look, and Holiday comes down with it. Brockman had early inside position. They collapse on him. That allows Holiday a free look in transition. Foul called on Morgan State for the grab in pursuit of the rebound. That will be their 7th team foul of the Huskies now in the bonus.
Well, Morgan State tried to go big there for a little bit. Rodney Stokes at 6'10". Kevin Thompson at 6'9" up front with Kately. But I think the Huskies were a little bit too quick for them. So now you see them substituting back, going back a little bit smaller, trying to get a little more quickness on the floor to match up with Washington.
Huskies now, Francis, are 6 of 6 at the line, shooting 61%. I know our last broadcast we expressed concern about free throw shooting again this year.
Yeah, well, 11 for 14 in the first half, but then they ended the game 12 for 21. So they've got to keep it up above that 70% mark. He didn't jinx him.
No, it looked close though, didn't it? He scoots that one over the front iron and up and in. And the Huskies up by 9. 10:34 to go, first half. Jermaine Itchy Bolden. Thompson, or I should say Thomas, way outside defensively on him. Little leap and leaner off contact offered up by Gene Johnson, who snuck into the lineup from Hagerstown, Maryland, 6'7", junior.
All made possible by the penetration by Bolden.
Thomas comes off the down screen from Brockman, leaning and missing. Rico Miles with a rebound. side for Bolden, drives and kicks. And an open shooter knocking it down astride the three-point arc. Rogers Barnes.
And again, Bolden with that penetration. That's a great find to find him all the way back at the three-point line and top the key from the baseline. That's a good look by Bolden.
Mid-block Pondexter turns and faces. Gets space, spins, goes to the contact, flipped it up, no, follows, but he came over the back.
Jermaine Bolden with that baseline drive, and again, to have the awareness to know where his teammate is, spotted up outside the three-point line and find him from that position on the floor. That's great awareness.
Foul on Pondexter is his second. Team foul 5. Overton trying to wear Bolden out. They've put Thomas on him, Dentman on him, and Overton on him. Dentman's back in the lineup. Thomas goes to the bench. Turnaround flip offered up by Miles off the mark. Huskies again claim the rebound. Pondexter and Holiday 2 rebounds apiece. Holiday cross-court skip. Dentman hard slash left to right. Jump stops. Picks up the dribble. Overton had it tipped away from behind and on the reach. Jermaine Bolden got him. And so Vinoy will go to the line for a 1-and-1.
Jermaine Bolden, we talked in the open. He's their leader. He's a senior. Very, very good at running their offense. He's very good in transition. He can score. But when you've got a guy on the floor that you know that if I give the ball up and get in the right position, that he's going to get me the basketball, those are the type of guys that are a pleasure to play with. And you see the Morgan State players really rallying around his play because he's kept them going and, just really got them off to a pretty good start here.
And Washington's free throw shooting, 8 for 8. Washington shooting, however, 7 of 18 from the field. Morgan State is 8 for 20. It's at 39 and 40% respectively. Morgan missed the second. But the ball tipped away and out of bounds with a foul called on Washington. Fouls on Brockman. Let's head down to Jen Mueller with another report.
Well, Kevin, just a quick update on Elston Turner. He is leaving the building right now to go get x-rays on his ankle. Right now, what appears to be just a sprain, but he is done for the night. We'll let you know later on if the x-rays show anything else, Kevin.
All right, Jen, thanks. The freshman Scott Suggs out of Missouri could see some playing time.
Guys get injured, as similarly to when Brockman went down earlier. It's an opportunity for a guy to get in there and make his mark.
Gene Johnson got open around the rim again. He's hit 2 little mid-range pivot moves to the glass, and he has pulled the Bears to within 4 at 25-21. Holiday to Dentman, curls off the screen. Pondexter gets into position on the block. Clear out, one-on-one. A nice little up and under, but couldn't convert. Thompson the rebound. Tried to spike it off of Pondexter, but I think he put it right down off the baseline, so Washington will take it.
And that's just some freshman frustration for Thompson because he's had his hands on the ball several times in this game. He's got tied up once, lost one. That time he's just losing his balance going out of bounds, and that's just getting stronger. Once he gets stronger, you can see he has the frame, and he's going to be solid.
Bolden comes out, and now Sean Thomas, another freshman, steps in for Scott Bozeman. Ryan Ammoning, little rock and pivot move, missed the left-hand sweeper. Rebound to Thompson.
Morgan State gets Kately going. Holmes got him off to the good start, and Bolden's been solid. But now with Bolden out of the game, Kately's got to go to work.
Not this time. Ryan Ammoning the rebound. The outlet to Dentman has Brockman ahead. Broken up. Getting hands on it was Rogers Barnes. Kately, another open look. This one rolls and falls in.
And you'd figure that they'd go to him when Bolden went out of the game. And that time he had a little bit better look, had a chance to really square up and take his time and knock it down.
Turnovers 4 apiece. Brockman in deep. Backs and turns. Thompson anticipated the spin and cut him off. Tipped outside. Huskies regroup. Dentman sees he's got a reset of the shot clock. Wisely, he'll rotate it. Overton tried to split a pair. Just didn't get it off to Dentman. Brockman in the basement again, going to work and got hammered and fouled. Brockman's had some early trouble with the length of the Morgan State front line.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, he's pretty good at getting it to the body and initiating the contact, but there's a lot of length out there for Morgan State, so that's an adjustment that Brockman and the Huskies will have to make on the front line. Huskies by 2.
Welcome back in Seattle. The Washington Huskies are tackling with a bear tonight from Baltimore. Morgan State from the MEAC Conference. And right now they're on an 8-1 run to pull within 2 of Washington, 25-23. Senior John Brockman from Snohomish to the free throw line, where the Huskies have done quite well tonight. They've hit 8 of 9. Brockman in this one with 4 points, but has yet to garner a rebound. Highly unusual.
Well, this Morgan State team is more indicative of the types of teams that the Huskies will see in Pac-10 play. I mean, they have some depth, they have some athletes, they're tough as nails. See that right away. And the system that they're playing is the type of team that'll give the Huskies some problems because they do have some length up front.
5 turnovers on Morgan State. Isaiah Thomas back in the lineup, along with Justin Detman, Matthew Bryant-Amity, John Brockman, and Justin Holiday. Nice entry pass by Detman to get it to Brockman for the easy one at the cup.
And the first time we see the Huskies go into that 1-4 high setup, Brockman just does a good job of getting the seal on the low post.
Charge called. Standing his ground was Justin Holiday to take the blow.
And Bryant-Amity and Brockman go to the high post, and again Brockman does his work early and allows himself to get that good low post position. And here again, going to the basket strong for Morgan State, but there's just too much defensive help there, and Justin Holiday steps in front to draw the charge.
And Rogers Barnes picks up his second foul. 6:01 to go in the opening half. 24 to shoot. Huskies by 6. Scott Suggs in the lineup. We talked about him just a moment ago. In low, the Brockman squeezes between defenders and drew the foul. Now, they didn't quite have him sealed, did they? They gave him a little bit of daylight.
Yep, and they pushed him off the block that time and got him a little bit further away from the basket, but then Thompson just opened up and gave him the baseline. The rotation defensively is a little bit late, and as we know, John will initiate that contact and draw the foul every time.
Rodney Stokes got him with a foul. Brockman, the 2-time Pac-10 rebounding leader, is currently the nation's leading rebounder, which makes that stat a little startling here with the Huskies now going 12 of 13 from the line. That's startling, but also is the fact that Brockman has played nearly close to 15 minutes of work now, and does not have a rebound. Inside is Thompson. Nowhere to go. Finds Bolden at the point. Thompson mid-block. Nice spin move and elevating.
Well, that's a nice job for the freshman. And that's one of the things that we talked about Bozeman spending some time in the NBA. You'll see in the NBA a lot of times when the guy scores, the other team will have his guy go right back at him.
Screen and roll. Brockman interior pass deflected, but Bryant-Amity makes the catch, leans back, had a block by Thompson. Loose ball. Brockman picks it up, keeps the dribble alive, leans to the glass off the back iron, and the Bears are the rebound.
And that time I think Brockman was more concerned about drawing the contact than just finishing the shot.
4:55 to go in the first half. This is Bolden. He'll set the floor, bringing Thompson out high. Isolated, the step back. Thompson juggles it into the hands of Thomas. Isaiah head up and scanning. Zips a pass in deep. Bryant-Amity turns to the middle. Outside to Thomas for 3. Off the heel of the iron. And a timeout called by Todd Bozeman over there in front of the Morgan State bench. With 4:28 to play in the first half. And the Bears trailing here by 6.
The Bears have done a great job of not losing contact here because there's been a couple times here where the Huskies have got on a little bit of a roll, but their defense has not been too bad, and I'm sure Coach Bozeman called this timeout strictly to say to them, we're down by 6, we have possession of the basketball, let's go down and get something good so we can maintain contact here and not let them get away from us.
Morgan State is in Baltimore, Maryland, and enrollment is 7,500 from the Mid-Eastern Athletic, and they play over at Hill Fieldhouse. They were the regular season champions a year ago. They won 22, and that got them an invitation to the NIT. Todd Bozeman now in his 3rd year. In that conference, if you're not familiar with it, you have programs like Coppin State. There have been a couple of pros that have actually come out of Coppin State. Florida A&M, Clement Johnson playing for the Rattlers way back in the day, the former Sonic, and Howard University in that conference as well. Chris Taylor likes the Howard reference. The famous Donald Byrd used to teach there at Howard. Pick. Thomas glides. He's going to try to throw it. And kind of did.
Yeah, kind of did. Well, again, Huskies in the passing lanes, and Thomas has been pretty active, and maybe being able to survive playing most of the second half with 4 fouls. Last time out against Montana, he's really been active on the defensive end. There he is again, getting his hands on the ball. And another time, now he picks it up.
Give me that out ahead of Detman. Oh, he'll just lay it over and ease it over the front cup. That's what, when you get to be a senior, you just get to ease it over the front.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Romar is going to be happy about that, though. Because he talked about that in his post-game press conference after the Montana game about maybe playing to the crowd as opposed to let's just be solid and get the 2 points.
10-2 Husky run to take the 10-point lead. So after that timeout, they've come out on fire. Screen set by Brian Ammoning, and the foul call on Matthew Brian Ammoning.
Well, again, you see Isaiah Thomas playing the passing lanes, taking the ball to the basket. Is that a dunk or is it not? I don't know, but right now the Huskies are up by 10.
3:26 to go in the first half. Washington leading Morgan State along with Francis Williams, Kevin Calabro, Jen Mueller. Morning courtside here at Bank America, where Isaiah Thomas has been in the passing lanes, getting busy.
Well, the Huskies have as a team have 6 steals. Isaiah Thomas individually has 3, but he's gotten his hands on a lot of balls today and really creating havoc on the defensive end. See Justin Dittman getting out and trying to get his somewhat dunked, but right now the Huskies have a 10-point lead, and I think you attribute most of that to their ball-hawking defense.
Holding opponents to 40% during the year. Morgan State at 44%. Washington shooting 35% themselves from the field on 10 of 28. Rockman leading the way with 10 points. 12 points scored off of turnovers tonight for the Huskies. I think this is going to be their characteristic. Breaking teams down defensively, staying within that defense, not gambling too much, but getting points off turnovers and running.
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to do, because if it becomes one of those grind them out type games where your most of the work is being done on the interior, they're not set up for that type of play. So they've got to get out defensively and do some things so they can get out in transition and get some easy buckets.
Bolden. The crowd as he knocks down a couple of free throws. Thomas, quick burst, crossover spin. Mello big enough to dribble. Couldn't convert. Bolden the other way. Rebound volleyed. Darnell Gant there. Seal off Morgan State for the rebound.
Tough shot that time by Bolden. We know that he can score, but he needs to, at this point, keep the rest of those guys involved.
Sweet move by Dentman. Brian Ammoning trying to finish with a flush, but he's fouled in the act. And he'll shoot 2.
Justin Dittman will crossover, gets into the lane. Will scoop off the glass. And Brian Ammoning, as with the rest of the Huskies, going to the offensive glass. That's their 9th offensive rebound here in the first half.
Dentman trying to reverse twirl it with right hand. Looked like he had a left hand angle to the glass. I don't know if the replay sometimes is deceiving. Brian Ammoning at the line. Tonight at 10, FSN brings you Mike Holmgren's final press conference as head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. What are his future plans? Does he plan to return to the NFL? Find out tonight at 10 right here on FSN.
So the Huskies cooling off a little bit here at the foul line as Brian Ammoning misses those 2. Now you see the Huskies for the first time tonight, they go into a zone.
Kately to Thompson. Thomas clears the pack, drives into the lane, and threw it away. Kately running the floor. He was in the passing lane. Good heads-up play. Oh, he might have walked there. Jermaine Bolden will take over and directs the flow now for the Bears of Morgan State. 8-point Husky lead. Now at the 2-minute mark of the first half. Rebound tip by Brian Amity into the hands of Denton. Well, Gant got to be clock aware. He had 30 on the shot clock with 1:51 to play in the half, and that really is not Gant's shot. Kately hurries a three, and he missed it.
Well, Coach Bozeman must have a philosophy of not letting guys pick up the third foul in the first half, because we haven't seen Holmes for quite a while, and he got off to such a red-hot start. Unless he's injured and we're not aware of it, you know, he's been sitting, and he had 11 points early, and then we haven't seen him.
You know, he has picked up a couple of fouls, but he doesn't appear to be the kind of guy that's going to get into quick foul trouble. Now he is going to check in here for the remaining 142. Good eye over there, Francis.
It's almost like they forgot about him. I mean, he's been sitting for a long time.
Well, Todd has used a lot of guys here already, and sometimes coaching staffs, good ones, lose track of guys. Yep. He's red hot though, 5 for 6.
Yeah, I know they don't want him to pick up that third, because he's a vital part of what they do.
And they had gone on that 8-1 run before the last time out without him. So he's back in now. Morgan State's used 9 players. The Huskies have gone to 10.
And I think they're playing zone to protect some guys, to try to keep them out of foul trouble. But the way the Huskies go to the offensive glass, and as big as they are in certain spots, it's going to be tough to defend them. You know, the way they're trying to pound that ball into Brockman and the way they get on offensive glass zone is a tough chore for this Morgan State team anyway.
Watch him go to the backside of the zone with the lob in deep. His problem with the zone, he's not going to get any help, weak side help. These guys are covering areas. Free throw shooting, the Huskies got off to 8 for 8. Since then 4 for 7. And John misses this one. Here's Bolden. The mighty might out of Baltimore converts strong.
And again, he's a good test for the Husky backcourt.
37-28 count with 1:12 to go in the first half. Brockman wants it. Morgan State switches back in the man.
Husky just scored too easily, I was going to say, and now they go back to the man-to-man. Morgan State. Too easy for him, but that was pretty easy there, too.
Yeah. That was very methodical and calculated as he just drop steps into Rodney Stokes and knocked him into tomorrow for the bucket. 10-point lead for Washington. Overton again is right up in the holster there of Bolden. There's a miss around the cup. Brockman got knocked down, and they're going to call him for the foul. Buford foot.
John Brockman for the Huskies, he should just carve his initials into that spot there on the floor, because he's been wearing Morgan State out in that same spot the entire evening.
It looked like Stokes bailed out on that one, too. It was not as bad as it looked. Buford foot at the free throw line, 6'9", 215 out of Atlanta. This is the first. And has Todd now officially used everybody on his bench? He's come close. 10 now? Thanks, Chris. Chris Taylor with us on drums tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is your second game, huh? You worked that first game? All right. How'd that work for you, okay? It's a living, right? He says, leave me alone. I got a job to do. 39-30 Huskies. 41 seconds left here in the first half. Gant with it up top. Brockman. Nice pass. Justin can't quite get it to the cup. Came down with a rebound, tied up, and it will be Morgan State basketball. Last touch by Washington.
And again, Thompson got his hands on it. He had the rebound, but he's just had some trouble tonight when people come at him. He's just not quite physically strong enough yet to just clear people and get them off of him so he can just secure that rebound and not have any problems with it.
Joe Wolfinger stepping into the lineup now. 7-footer. 39-30, 22 seconds left in the first half. Washington in the zone. Wolfinger in the middle of that.
Catley along the baseline or maybe in the high post area there.
Bolden. He'll knock it down just inside the three-point perimeter. Huskies bring it up with 1 second. Dentman had it tipped away off him out of bounds. 0.2 of a second remaining for Morgan State.
Rogers Barnes and Reggie Holmes and Bolden. That trifecta there for Morgan State. They're going to keep them in games.
And that'll end the first half. Brockman leads the Huskies with 14. Thomas had 9. And Holmes leads the way for Morgan State. At halftime, it's Washington 39 and the Morgan State Bears 32. Let's send it now to the College Hoops Northwest Studios. Angie Mentink and Lenny Wilkins standing by. Halfway through here in Washington, the Huskies have a 6-game winning streak. They're 8-3 on the year, and they've taken on the MEAC regular season champs from a year ago, Morgan State, the Bears out of Baltimore. Right now, the Huskies with a 7-point lead. Back with Francis Williams, Kevin Calabro on hand. It's been a pretty good ball game. The Bears have a lot of components that have given the Huskies some fits.
Well, they really have, and I mean, it's been a tough fight. But the backcourt for the Bears is a good matchup for Washington. But again, Washington getting to the foul line 16 times in the first half, riding John Brockman because he's just a mismatch for most people down on the post. So, you know, that 7-point lead is basically because of Brockman's play on the post.
Game summary. How about Reggie Holmes? He scores 11 points in the first 6 minutes and then doesn't score in the last 14:06. Brockman 14 points, 11, make that just 1 rebound so far. That's kind of a news flash. 6 of 7 though from the line. Huskies were 8 for 8, then went 4 of 8. And defensively, Huskies 6 steals, 12 points off of turnovers. And Washington, in addition to that, shooting 35% in the first half, nonetheless leading here. Let's go down to the court, and Jen Mueller standing by.
Well, Kevin, having a chance to catch up with both head coaches at halftime. Coach Bozeman says, yeah, he's frustrated by Morgan State's foul trouble, but it's not like they're not getting any looks. He is pleased with the number of looks they're getting, which means Husky head coach Lorenzo Romar says they're getting too many good looks. 7 offensive rebounds for Morgan State, simply not acceptable. Neither is the Dogs' effort around the basket. He wants them to finish stronger in the second half, not settle for foul shots, get the bucket instead, guys.
Thanks, Jen. And we should add that Elston Turner will not be playing the rest of the way, and we're happy to report that he has just a sprained left ankle. Don't know to what degree, but as we replayed that fall that he took and then the player leaned and falling against the left leg, it looked like it sure could have been worse than a sprained left ankle.
Yeah, well, unfortunate that he got hurt, but just the sprained ankle is good news, as you said. You saw Morgan State in that first possession. Marquise Catley, leading scorer, only had 3 looks in the first half, was 1 for 3, and you see they tried to isolate him and get him going offensively, because between Holmes and Bolden and him, if they can get all 3 of those guys going, that's going to give them some offensive firepower that they're going to need to try to overcome this 8-point deficit.
A foul on Bolden is his second, averaging 13.6 a game. Isaiah Thomas, the freshman from Curtis High School in Tacoma, knocks down the second free throw. Isaiah 3 of 8 shooting from the field, has 11 points, 3 boards, a couple of assists. Kevin Thompson inside on Brockman, sweeping left-hander, missed it. Brockman with his second rebound of the game. Dentman the other way. Pondexter was 0 for 3 in the first half. Dentman knifes in, double clutches. That one sails over the rim. Thompson the rebound.
Dentman's gotten in a little too deep a couple times in this game and hasn't been able to finish. You see Catley being offensive-minded. I'm sure Coach Bozeman had a few words for him at halftime that he's got to be more aggressive and try to assert his will on the game.
Kaylee averages nearly 10 points and 7 rebounds a game. It was a non-factor in the first half. Brockman backs Thompson in. And couldn't quite get it up over Thompson. Reggie Holmes with the rebound. Kaylee jump stops. Smothers the ball and steps back and hits. And look out, you're right. He's getting into a little groove here now.
Yeah, 3 possessions for Morgan State, and he's taking all 3 shots. So he got a little pep talk at halftime.
5-point lead for Washington. Brockman will screen high for Thomas. Thomas tried to force it up and over. Kaylee wouldn't go. Loose ball foul called on Washington.
And I think that right there with Isaiah Thomas was an example of what Coach Romar was talking about, where Thomas was more concerned about trying to draw the contact as opposed to just getting the bucket.
3rd foul on Brockman, Francis.
Yes.
Here's Reggie. He put his head down, leaned into Denton, knocked him down, and the foul called on Reggie Holmes.
Now he has 3.
So 3 on Holmes and 3 on Brockman, and both players still on the floor. Elston Turner comes back out to join his Husky mates on the bench. He's on crutches. Dentman to Thomas. Streaks in, great finish.
Good job by Isaiah Thomas. He can go either direction, but he's always coming back to that left hand.
Gant soars in to block the shot out of bounds. Morgan State basketball.
Denton lost control within the paint. It picks back up, and you just see Thomas. He takes a peek. He goes right. And a good job by him to use the glass as well in there.
He's unpredictable up top at the point. He's just as soon go right as he would left, huh?
Yeah, either direction. He's just as effective.
Gant comes up top, 15-footer, got it.
Oh, yeah, you got to like that.
Gant's 1 for 3. The Huskies are shooting 36%. We mentioned Pondexter 0 for 3. Matthew Bryan Amening 2 for 6. Itchy Bolden thrown inside, and Brockman on the overplay. The 4th foul on John Brockman. So he will depart, and he departs early with 16:55 left in this one.
Matthew Bryan Amening has been a spark off the bench along with Vinoy Overton for the last 3 or 4 games for Washington. So again, it's an opportunity for him to come in and pick up the slack.
On the inbounds, Rogers Barnes misses the 3-point opportunity. Thomas the other way. Isaiah goes right. Leans in off balance. Finds Pondexter. Gant, nice pass.
And I think, am I going to dunk it?
Yes.
Or am I going to lay it up?
A moment of indecision.
A moment of indecision. Turns into a 2-foot air ball.
From the old school, Francis. You can get a little trip shot off the glass, do so.
Well, my good friend Al Hairston, there's $2,000 worth of glass up there. Why not use it?
That's right. That's right. And it's just scrap iron that's painted orange. Thompson picks up his 2nd foul. Bears with their 3rd team foul. Rico Miles will step in, and Thompson will go to the bench forlornly. Gant to bring it in. Reset of the shot clock for Washington. Demma got a nice screen from Amening, missed it. Running down the rebound. Miles. Holmes turns and fires. Flat shot rolling off.
The Huskies have not really come out again with a lot of effort on the defensive end, I feel. They come out with the attitude that we're going to outscore you here in the second half instead of getting out in the passing lanes, staying active, being in good help position, getting on the glass. That's what got them the lead. And if they want to sustain that or expand on that, just keep doing what you've been doing.
Denman will step out. Vinoy Overton is in. Vinoy started 26 games a year ago. Coming off the bench this year as Thomas has slid into the starting role. freshman, jump passes over to Pondexter inside of Brian Avenant. Got up and had it blocked, but a foul. Rico Miles came over the back. And Matthew Brian Avenant will shoot the free throws on the third foul of the night to Rico Miles. 15:56 to play, first half action. Huskies 45, Morgan State 36. Coming up next, the exciting game show known as Who Am I? Yes, it's back. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Washington leading Morgan State 45-36. Jen Mueller, Francis Williams, Kevin Calabro on the scenes. Great house here tonight at the Bank of America Arena on the campus of University of Washington. Time now to play Who Am I? College style. The college version of Who Am I? I'm the only NBA player to have come out of Morgan State. Name me. Well, that would be the human eraser.
Human eraser.
Marvin Webster. Seattle's Marvin Webster rebounds against the Denver Nuggets. That was from Sports Illustrated. What was that, 1978, I guess. Bears center from 72 to 75. From Morgan State, Marvin Webster. How did he get to New York? That was through free agency? Or was that a trade, guys?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Seems to me that was part of the Paul Westphal deal, wasn't that? Let's put somebody else to work back there. We had to do a lot of lifting to answer that question.
We handled our part.
Now we've got a question for you. I should know that. I'm trying to forget.
Yeah.
It's just too painful to think about.
Yeah, we got to keep it clean.
Yeah. Rodney Stokes converts after the timeout. Look out, here's Thomas. Bolden overran the play. Thomas lays it in. 10-point lead for Washington.
And I think Thomas may have gotten a little bit of a pep talk at halftime also, because he's been very aggressive on the offensive end of the court as well.
On next to the rebound, here he comes. Oh, he's had a little daylight to the rim, but he missed the finger roll.
Yeah, Quincy struggled a little bit with his offense through the last couple of games as well, but he's got to continue to play defense and get on the glass, and it'll come back to him.
Jermaine Bolden handling. Sean Thomas tripped up. He and Overton go down. No harm, no foul. Reggie Holmes handling. He'll get rid of it. 8 to shoot. Todd Bozeman wants him to move. They're not moving. The Bears are standing with 4, and Bolden gets off a 3, and he knocked it down. He bailed him out.
He really did. He really did. But he's been solid all night long.
48-41 count. 14:35 to go in the first half. Brockman on the bench with 4 fouls. Gant trying to enter it. Had it tipped away. Stokes with the deflection. Make that Miles. Now Bolden with it. Feeling flush with success. He missed that one. Running down the rebound, though, is Holmes. And he throws it to Todd Bozeman.
Good idea, poor execution. But you got to admire the fact that Morgan State is staying on the glass, being active.
Bozeman a little unhappy with his man Rico Miles over there. Banishes him to the bench.
I may not see him again until after the new year.
Here's Brian Avenant to the inline. Shut off. Finds Overton at the point. Dexter backs. Nice little pump fake. Goes up and under to lay it home.
He had a mismatch. Just be patient. No double team. Holmes goes for the flop. They don't call it. It's 2 points.
Marvin Webster traded to New York for Lonnie Shelton.
Okay.
This just in. Here's Bolden. Checked by Isaiah Thomas. 13:39. Gant picks it up off the floor. Finds Thomas. 2-on-1. Pondexter. NBA trailing. Nice little two-man play. And Thomas finishes. 17 for Isaiah Thomas. And a timeout called by Morgan State. They need a chance to think about it. They're unraveling a little bit as they've fallen behind by 11 now. And Washington behind Thomas with 17. Is taking the lead. Beautiful night here in Seattle. All the snow is gone. So no more excuses for being late. Right there. You notice how that's a convenient excuse. You can fudge a little bit. 5 to 15 minutes, snow got me. Not anymore.
You could use it for about 10 days. I don't think I've ever seen it like that in Seattle. It was bad.
That was crazy. 52-41 count. Washington leading. 13:22 to go. First half. You make a good point about Brockman with the 4 fouls. He went out at, what was it? 16:44 the fourth. So they've been playing without him, and this run has been with Brockman on the bench. Remember, they won a game this year without John Brockman. He was out with a sprained ankle. Beat Portland State by 2. Lost a game at the beginning of the year to Portland when Brockman scored 30. Thomas is in for the first time against Morgan State. Here is a nice little steal and run out by Rogers Barnes for the bucket.
Now you see Morgan State maybe going to extend their defense a little bit. Desmond Thomas into the game. Redshirt freshman, 5'9", out of Baltimore. And he's got a lot of quicks. He can put some pressure on the ball similarly to the way the Huskies guards do. So let's see if he can have an impact on the game.
Matthew Brian Ammoning drops it low to Gant. And he's pursued and fouled trying to get into the air with it.
The Huskies get a little careless with the basketball. And a nice job by Rogers Barnes just to get his hands on it and get the run out for the 2 points and cut that Husky lead from 11 to 9.
Here's Darnell, steps up.
Number 32, Marquise
Gant was a redshirt last year and top-rated, one of the top wingmen on the West Coast as a high school senior. He has started the first 11 games, averaging 4 rebounds per contest. Hails from Los Angeles.
He went to Crenshaw High School, and Rico Miles for Morgan State went to Crenshaw High School as well. But Rico's in the doghouse over there right now.
Todd Bozeman not throwing him a bone, not yet. Bolden slips and falls, and he was helped to the floor by Vanoy Overton for the push. This will be his first. And the third team foul on the Washington Huskies. Good tune-up for the Huskies. A great challenge offered up by Morgan State here tonight before Washington begins Pac-10 play. As you know, Saturday we'll have the broadcast for you. Tips at 3 o'clock from Pullman. Washington State. As both teams get underway with Pac-10 action. Kately will give it to Thompson. Artem Wallace in the lineup got a piece. Kately then inexplicably lost a handle on the ball as he went up for the putback. He had an easy one there.
Yeah, he did. Well, again, 0 for 8 performance against St. Mary's their last time out. He struggled here early, 1 for 3 in the first half. Really came out offensive-minded. Oh, just careless basketball there by the Huskies.
Bad exchange. Overton to Dentman. But Overton comes up with a block, but could not come up with the ball. Bolden, the 1-2 to the cup. Brian Ammoning forced him to change the shot. That's in the middle of that mess was Reggie Holmes. Had it blocked, but now that he will get it back. Lean in banker hit the side of the glass. He's fouled, and Reggie will go to the line for 2. Good second effort offered up by Morgan State. Todd Bozeman likes the effort.
That was actually a good effort by both teams. I mean, you got to admire Holmes. He's in there battling. Bolden misses the shot. You'll see Holmes get his shot blocked 3 times by the Huskies. Overton comes up with it, but he's not able to control it. He throws it away. Bolden steps in, and he controls it. Huskies are up by 11.
.11:36 left in this ball game, and the Huskies leading the Bears for Morgan State 54-43. Well, there he stands at the free throw line, the guy who got red hot in the first half. Reggie Holmes hit 5 of 6 in the first half in 10 minutes of work. And apparently Todd Bozeman had an issue with his work in the first half, but here he comes in the second half now and heads to the line on the foul to Matthew Brian Ammoning. And Francis, that is the 3rd foul on Brian Ammoning. Artem Wallace is in. And Brockman, of course, has been out since 16:44 when he picked up his 4th foul. He hasn't budged since.
Well, it's been a very competitive first 8.5 minutes here. And both teams have a little bit of foul trouble. But right now, Morgan State is just outworking the Huskies and wanting a little bit more. They just haven't been able to chip into that lead that's been right around 8 to 12 points the entire game. And there's a foul on Brian Ammoning. So now that's 4 on him.
That's the 4th, and that's a really chancy pass out so far, 15 feet from the basket. And you don't have position. You're trying to reach over.
Well, number one, you're trying to get a deflection or a steal on a guy that can't hurt you from that far away from the basket. But number two, you've got to be smarter to know that you just saw Brockman pick up a foul doing exactly the same thing, trying to reach around. That's going to be called every time. You have to be smarter than that.
Well, the bench now is going to be called upon. The Husky bench has outscored 9 of 11 opponents this year. It's in the strength of the club. Of course, Matthew Brian Ammoning has done the bulk of that score, and he is on the bench right now. Pondexter D's up on Cately, and he hits a step back from the elbow on the left side. 54-46 count. Huskies by 8.
Now, this is a critical time for the Huskies in the basketball game. They have 3 reserves on the court: Overton, Holiday, and Artem Wallace. Denton and Pondexter have to lead this team right now until they can get Brockman back in the game and keep this game stabilized, because right now it's an 8-point game.
Jermaine Bolden reaches in and fouls Overton. Huskies in the bonus, so Overton at the line. Dentlow will come out and Isaiah Thomas will step in. Thomas leads the Huskies with 17 tonight. He's hit 50%, but the club's at 37%. Morgan State likewise at 37. Overton knocks down that one, and we'll get another 18 of 23 now. The Huskies from the line. 78% for a club that averages 61% from the line. Overton calmly hits the second. Washington with a 10-point lead. Overton picks up Bolden in his own backcourt. Inside, they sweep it to Cately. Oh, he muscles across the middle, laid it in.
And that's a matchup right there that thought early in the game that Morgan State might go to. He's a tough cover for Pondexter because of his strength. Pondexter has length and quickness, but he's strong around the cup. He's got some offensive moves, and it's a tough matchup for Quincy.
Cately's 5 for 9 now. Thomas off the Artem Wallace screen. Had it deflected. Pondexter comes up with it, and he's knocked down in the act. Quincy to shoot 2. At the 10-14 mark here of the first half, 56-48, Huskies by 8.
Maybe this will get Pondexter some confidence. He's been struggling on the offensive end, so get a couple of these free throws to go down, and maybe that'll make the bucket look a little bigger to him.
And this is this. 10-14 to go in the second half. 56-48 is our count, and Cately will leave. Thompson will step in. Quincy knocks it down.
Morgan State goes back to their bigger lineup with Thompson on the floor and Stokes.
Artem Wallace got Thompson as he made his move.
Thompson, 6'9", redshirt freshman. Stokes is a 6'10" sophomore. And with the only real big guy on the floor for the Huskies being Artem Wallace, puts a lot of pressure on Holiday and Pondexter up front.
Morgan State at the line has hit 6 of 10. 6 of 11 now, and the Huskies have hit 20 of 26. 14-point advantage at the free throw line for Washington. Washington taking advantage at the charity stripe. Away to an 8-point lead. Overton has an open 3. Bam. No doubt about that one. Left his hand, huh?
That's a big shot because you see Morgan State going to a half-court trap, which is what they want to do, either force a turnover or maybe a quick shot where they can get a rebound and go the other way. But Overton knocking it down keeps the Huskies up by 11.
And Washington's 4 of 6 from the line. Bolden again trying to knife to the cup. He's fouled.
Noy Overton to Holiday. Morgan State wants to come over and trap. That leaves Overton with a wide open look, and he buries it.
I know, why do you come to trap Holiday when you want to get the ball out of the hands of Overton? Bolden goes in the first free throw. 10-point lead now for the Huskies. 9:34 remaining in the game.
Morgan State doing a lot better job here in the second half of getting to the foul line than they did in the first. They've been taking the ball aggressively to the basket and drawing some fouls, which has gotten the Huskies in foul trouble here in the second half.
And Bolden knocks down the second free throw. 60-51 Huskies, 9:30 to play. Brockman's been on the bench since 16:44 when he picked up his fourth foul. Matthew Bryan Ammoning on the bench as well with 4 fouls. Overton drops it low to Artem Wallace. Back turns, muscles in, and he'll head to the line for 2.
Good job by Artem Wallace to establish a low post position against Thompson. Thompson's young, and he's going to learn as he goes through the wars of the MEAC, and he gets a little bit stronger. But you can see that he's got the potential to be a solid player. He's got some tools to work with, but he's going to learn not to body up so much against these big guys so they can feel him, so that they know which way to turn. Maybe back up, make them make a decision, and then come back and play defense.
It's a little bit like Josh Smith at the Atlanta Hawks, right?
Yep, a little bit of a resemblance.
Wallace goes in the free throw. Jermaine Bolden protecting the ball with the body from Overton. Swings it over to Reggie Holmes. And he is fouled in the act over there. Was he out beyond the three-point arc? No. Inside the arc. Huskies with their 8th team foul, second on Holiday. 61-51. Washington by 10, 9:07 remaining. Holmes is from Baltimore, Maryland, as are most of his teammates. One of the notable exceptions, Marquise Catley out of San Francisco, played his freshman year at Cal. Second free throw up and in. 14 now for Reggie Holmes. He leads Morgan State. Morgan State's won 5 games this year. They've lost 7. One of their wins, a 4-point win at DePaul over the Blue Demons. Thomas glides in right to left. And Isaiah off to a very, very nice offensive game here with 19 on 7 of 13.
In the first half, Morgan State could not keep any of the Husky guards out of the paint. And Thomas just picks up where he left off, 17 in the first half. And they've had no answer for him the entire night.
Nice little step back. Jermaine Bolden coming right back at him. Senior has 15 tonight for Morgan State. 8:18 remaining. 63-55 here in the second half. Washington. Pondexter will screen high. Thomas offers up the 3. Morgan State all over the rebound.
Right now on the offensive end, they're kind of letting Thomas freelance and kind of do his thing right now.
Bolden with a step back off the heel of the iron. Holiday with a rebound. Huskies have been out-rebounded tonight, 32-31. They lead the nation in rebounding margin at 12.5 plus. Bolden deflects it, gets it. Sets up Rogers. He'll lay it up and in. Rogers-Barnes converts. And Morgan State and the Huskies have drawn closer here. Washington up 6 with a timeout on the floor. And 7:41 to play in the half.
Well, Vanoy Overton, that could have been a foul,
yeah.
But he's dribbling the ball into traffic, and that allows Bolden to get in there and get a hand on it. And Barnes picks it up, a little give and go there, and he uses the glass to get it up. And that's a 6-point deficit now for Morgan State. And again, they're just hanging around. The Huskies have not been able to shake them, and you have to give Morgan State credit. But at the same time, the Huskies, again, did not come out in the second half with the same type of defensive intensity the way they started the basketball game. And that has allowed Morgan State to have some of their guys, namely Catley, to get a little offense. Bolden was being effective the entire game, so they, just hanging around.
Morgan State on a 6-2 run over the last minute and 32. New Year's Day, the Seattle University Redhawks face the Loyola Marymount Lions as the Hawks return to action at Key Arena for the first time in 29 years. Coverage begins Thursday at 6 right here on FSN. First time in 29 years. Wow. That was, of course, the old Coliseum before it was the Key, and we used to call it the Barn. And it was. Thomas over the shoulder. Inside Pondexter to Wallace. He's fouled. Artem Wallace to the line. So at 17:24 here, with a break in the action, you have to ask yourself at what point, now the remaining 7.5 and change, will Brockman or Matthew Bryan Amony come back each with 4 fouls as Washington leads by 6. 63-57 in the ball game. 7:24 remaining. And before the game, we featured a couple of mighty mites out there going one-on-one, and this has been a pretty good conflict between these two.
Well, Isaiah Thomas has been pretty special tonight with 19 points here and with about 7 minutes left in the game. Jermaine Bolden on the other end, he's been the stabilizing force for Morgan State, as he's been really the main reason they've been able to stay around with him managing the game for Morgan State. The only downside for him, I would say, is I don't think you want your point guard taking 17 shots.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of an issue, but a lot of that has been caused by the Husky defense, and he's had the ball with the shot clock running down as he's been forced to take the shots.
Wallace splits a pair at the line. Huskies now are 22 of 30 from the stripe. They've outscored Morgan State by 11 at the line. Justin Holiday creeps up on Bolden. He uses the length of Holiday on Bolden. However, inside, Verneuille Overton has got to front Kately. Kately got a good look at it, but tipped out of bounds in the rebound by Washington. A reset for Morgan State. Now here comes Matthew Bryan Amony with 4 fouls at 7:02 of the ball game. Brockman's been on the bench since 16:44 with his 4th foul. Now Overton switches out on Bolden. Thompson back outside Bolden, 19 to shoot. They look for the 3-point attempt, and that one rings in and out. Holmes' miss is recovered by Pondexter, and Verneuille Overton steers it the other way. Circles. They forgot about Overton, and he cuts in and lays it up and in. Nice move.
Yep, you're absolutely right. They forgot about him. When he brought it back out, they thought he was just going to set it up. He continued to survey the defense, found the seam. 3-footer, he's going to knock that down.
9-point lead for Washington, 6:14 remaining. Brockman comes off the bench. Kately crossing over. Thunders inside, steps back, missed it. Rebound, Matthew Bryan Amony loops it outside of Verneuille. Out ahead of Quincy. Pondexter spins, trying to finish. Knocked down and fouled by Kately. He'll get a deuce.
Well, a quick shot on the other end by Morgan State, and that allows the Huskies to get a run out. It was actually a 3-on-0 as Morgan State had no one back. And again, the Huskies are just relentless on the offensive glass. Their defense has improved a little bit here over the last 4 or 5 minutes. And they're living at the foul line, and that right now is the difference in the basketball game, the amount of times that the Huskies have been able to get to the line. Morgan State 11 for 16, Huskies 21 for 28.
Pondexter tonight, Francis, is 1 of 5. It's just the 3 points. He does have 6 rebounds to lead Washington, and John Brockman will step in, and Artem Wallace will go to the bench, and fans give Wallace a fine hand. He's trying to recuperate from a badly injured right knee. He's playing, of course, with that heavy brace. And trying to wean him. Pondexter missed the second. Thompson the rebound. Morgan State trailing by 10 with 5:53 remaining. Thompson gets open on the overplay. Brockman's got to play soft on it. Thompson lays it up, missed it, got it again, laid it in. You can see Brockman just can't be aggressive.
And again, smart by Morgan State. I mean, he comes back in with the 4th foul, and they go right at him.
Pondexter's got a little one.
Get out of his way, get out of his way, give him some space.
Overton feeds to Matthew Bryan Amony. Offense knocks down Kately, and Amony got him. That's 5 on Matthew Bryan Amony. And Lorenzo Romar is steamed.
Good job of officiating. I give the official credit for not making eye contact with him. He just let him go ahead and vent. He was irate. But they kind of been playing Brian Ammoning for that all night. They flopped on him a couple of times and it hasn't been called, but I think that time because he had that elbow extended, that got Kately the call.
So Matthew Brian Ammoning picks up his 5th foul, and his night is over with 6 points and 5 rebounds.
And so where do you think the ball is going to go this time? I know where it should go.
Well, Pondexter picks up Kately, and they go right to Kately, drives in, lays it up and in. Boy, took him out high and made a nice little move to the rack. 6-point Washington lead, 5:08 remaining. Pondexter, or I should say, it's Thomas off the screen trying to finish, and he picks up a bump foul on Kately.
Anytime he can come off of that curl, he can turn the corner, especially going to a strong hand. He's just so uncanny and crafty with that ball. He understands how to get that ball up off the glass, and he leans in and creates contact as well.
That's a 4th foul on Kately. Thomas down with 19 for the game. Second on the team in scoring behind John Brockman. And Brockman tonight has had a tough time getting on track. He does have 14 points, but just the 3 rebounds. Good news is the Huskies shooting 73% from the line. And with 25 free throws through the hole, with a 14-point advantage at the line, but it's an 8-point lead with 5 minutes remaining. Here comes Morgan State out of Baltimore, Maryland. Bolden into the lane. Nice hand off to Thompson. Thomas from behind strips him of the ball. It'll be Morgan State ball.
Good job by Thomas to get back in there and help Brockman.
Thompson gets a screen from Kately and muscles to the rack to lay it in.
They're going to go there. I think Thompson and Kately every time.
Thomas drifts off the screen. Gant pops out. Isaiah gets new dribbles. Leads to Gant. Pondexter wants an ISO on the right side. He'll go to work. There's a height advantage, drops it low. There's Brockman to lay it in. Brilliant pass by Quincy.
Yeah, the interior passing for the Huskies over the last 2 or 3 games has been exceptional. Those guys are looking for each other, and just knowing that the ball is going to be shared, they're expecting those passes and finishing the plays.
Huskies by 8. Bolden tees it up. I don't know if Overton had a hand on that or not. The ball came out of his hands crazily, and a foul called in pursuit of the rebound on Bolden. That's his 4th.
Yeah, and that's just not a shot you would expect from a senior leader. That was way too early. They're only down by 8. But again, Quincy Pondexter on the ISO just takes his time. He's very patient. He sees John Brockman cutting to the basket, drops it off for the layup.
Brockman was 16. Thomas with 21 and Overton with 11. And Darnell Gant at the line.
Darnell Gant's a guy that really took advantage of his redshirt year. Coach Romar, in the conversation we had with him earlier this year, it was his call to Darnell's call to redshirt, and he really took advantage of it because this is a guy that stays on the court with his team and doesn't really score a lot of points, but he does all of the other things to make the team better.
Well, it's a couple of big free throws right here for starters. That gives him a 10-point lead. Kevin Thompson jump stops, and again, working on Brockman, who's handcuffed with 4 fouls. 73-66. Make that 73-65. 3:41 left in the ball game. Now clock management, extremely important for Washington. They have 22 to shoot. Isaiah streaks in, double clutches, and finishes strong.
Yep. He's strong. He's quick.
That's a good combination. There's Gant doing those little things as he alters Reggie Holmes' shot to give Washington the possession.
Now the Huskies just need to be smart. 10-point lead, 3 minutes left in the basketball game. Just be solid.
Overton and Thomas at the guards. Pondexter and Brockman with Gant up front. Thomas upended, and a foul called on Rogers Barnes. And again, the Huskies go to the free throw line. Well, Isaiah Thomas has had his way here in the second half. He has really been storming, getting to the cup for 23 in total, and the Huskies up 10. College basketball on FSN, brought to you tonight by Banner Bank. Better ideas and better banking. Welcome back with Francis Williams and Jen Mueller. Kevin Calabro on hand. Washington trying to close out here on a 6-game winning streak. Trying to close out the non-conference schedule and move on Saturday afternoon to Pullman to take on the Washington State Cougars. First trip to Pullman for the Huskies men's basketball team since '99, and they'll be making the trip without Elston Turner, presumably playing. Elston may be making the trip, but I doubt he'll be playing with a severely sprained left ankle suffered in tonight's game. Thomas, meantime, is he's tuned up, huh, Francis? I mean, he's ready to go. Look at it.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, the 23 points is his career high. It was 19 against Florida International earlier this year. 4 rebounds, the 2 assists, the 3 steals, I think, are most important because that means he's buying in on the offensive end. And now 7 for 7 from the foul line. So a nice job by Thomas tonight of not only managing the game, but doing what he does, which is score. That's what he does best. But he's managed the game, got his teammates involved, and been solid on the defensive end as well.
Isaiah's 8 for 15 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 8 of 8 from the line. Boys, that's solid. 25 points, 4 boards, 2 assists for Thomas. Oh, that was a sweet little crossover, and then the pull-up. Reggie Holmes elevates and scores. 77-67, 2:37 remaining in the game.
Huskies using some clock, 10-point lead, a little over 2 minutes to go.
Dan with a screen, Thomas streaks between defenders, Brockman the rebound, fouled as he went up, and John Brockman will shoot.
Number 32,
16 points, 5 rebounds for John Brockman. Lorenzo Romar will bring him over there, and he has a pretty nice ball club tuned up to go into Pac-10 play. It seems that he has them in their defined roles, and they've accepted that so far.
Well, the preseason schedule, which we talked about here over the entire month, has allowed them to really work on a lot of different things, play a lot of guys. So they've worked on a lot of combinations. Tonight, for example, was a situation where Brian Ammonen getting in foul trouble and Brockman getting in foul trouble at the same time. It forced them to go a little bit deeper into the bench and try some combinations that they haven't used. So these 6-7 games that they've had at home in preparation for Pac-10 play, they should be ready to go because a lot of guys have played a lot of minutes. So they should understand, as you said, and have bought in by now.
And the Huskies have had 10 straight free throws, Francis, so the free throw shooting is good. 31 of 40 tonight. For a team that shoots 61% on the year. Thompson has it tipped away. Marquise Keatley was fouled out of the game with 14 points. Morgan State's stalwart offensive player here in the second half is on the bench. Brockman's been playing with 4 fouls since 16:44. Lefty Brian Ammonen is fouled out. Thomas has been the guy that's carried the Huskies offensively with this little split. Drives into the lane, laying it up and in. Boy, he is so good coming off the high screen of just splitting those defenders, going right to the cup.
Yeah, well, that time he turned the screen down. He turned it down, went right, which they didn't expect him to do. And again, when he gets to the cup, he's deceptive with his athleticism. He can really get up and elevate. And he's pretty good with either hand, although he prefers to use that left hand. But he's just so deceptive and very tough to guard when he gets around the basket.
Thomas off the back rim. Gant with a rebound. Morgan State trailing here by 14. The Huskies going to zone with 1:23 remaining. Here's a pass that sails over the head and off the fingertips of Gene Johnson out of bounds. Sean Thomas will come back in for Morgan State. And the night is over for Gene Johnson as he goes to the bench.
Well, the Huskies will definitely go into Pac-10 play with a lot of momentum with this winning streak. Looks like they'll have everyone healthy except Turner.
Overton handling at the point with a minute remaining in the game. Overton off the Brockton screen. Muscles up, missed it. Thompson with a rebound. 45 seconds remaining in this one. Washington had won 6 in a row coming into this contest. Coming off a win Sunday against Montana. Ball deflected, and Vornaya Overton will bring it the other way. That should just about do it. 30 seconds remaining in this one. Crowd on their feet at Bank of America Arena. For the Washington Huskies have in workmanlike fashion in the last 10 minutes of this ball game put a real nice effort together to take a 14-point win tonight over Todd Bozeman's Morgan State Bears. Thomas with a career-high 27 points. Brockman had 18 tonight, Francis.
Well, you've got to love the way Thomas played tonight, his aggressiveness, but also the way he managed the game for Washington as well. And for the entire Husky program, being able to have Brockman sit on the bench for almost 10 minutes and play to the level that they did, again, just giving the entire team more confidence.
So at Washington State on the 3rd, we'll see you around 3 o'clock or so from Pullman as the Huskies take on the Cougars from Washington State. Francis Williams and Jen Mueller, Kevin Calabro saying so long from Seattle. Final again, University of Washington 81 and Morgan State from Baltimore 67.